I know why you're here. You're wondering, are you ready for an agent, and how can I help you answer that question? Well, first of all, great question, because today I want to talk to you about when you know you're ready for that agent with a few telltale signs. Because there are a few signs that actually do a great job of telling you you're ready to start querying an agent or a manager and sending your particular scripts out so that you can get picked up as a professional writer. Before we start this video today, I know that I mentioned Arc Studio in my last video, so now I want to show you some of my favorite features about Arc Studio. So immediately you can see that I have two projects. I love that you can see the percentage, because the percentage lets you know if you have a target range, how far along you are. My next favorite thing is that your beat outline can be changed to whatever template you want. Arc Studio has gone ahead and formatted it for you in either the basic 3-act structure, or if you want to do a 5-act TV structure, and it's going to put the building blocks there for you. Stash. Drag your scene over to the stash or mark it so that you can actually keep it for later. You can sign up today for free to use Arc Studio if you'd like to try it out. You can use my link down below and you get $30 off your plan today. Now let's get started. The first noticeable thing about being ready for an agent is the amount of revisions that you would do on a script. Now, when I used to write scripts in the very beginning, when I was just learning the craft, it was so easy for me to be just ready to get one script done and then move on to the next. But what I didn't know was that revisions make your script and your story stronger, and it helps you develop your characters, your plot, your arcs, all of the above, and make sure that it's polished and ready. During the revision process, it's going to be a lot of work that you're putting into your script. The amount of revisions is going to be drastically different for each writer because each writer is so unique. So while writers really don't love doing the revision process, some have learned to love it because of the fact of how much it improves the script and the story overall. It just brings you closer to that original vision that you had, and sometimes you surprise yourself with the things that you add into it to make it that much more unique and that much more you. Yeah, that's right. Revisions also hone your voice, so definitely make sure you're doing that revision process. Of course, a great revision book was Screenwriting is Rewriting, and I highly recommend it. There's some great stuff in there, and it teaches you a lot about how to really analyze your own script. Next, find your voice. The next thing you'll notice is that your voice has sort of come into its own. A long time ago when I was listening to podcasts and trying to research how writers became writers, I was looking into specific screenwriters that I adored, and most of them talked about this thing called your writing voice. I had no idea what they meant. Surely I had a specific voice. It was the things that I was writing, the story, that was part of my voice. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it completely now. Find your voice means you're going to see certain patterns appearing in each story that you write that feels very uniquely you. It's something that when you read it, you know that writer, that's something that's part of them. That's a piece of them that they're putting into that writing. And it's so incredibly interesting to see it come out when you read. It's the same way in which when you watch The Social Network or The Newsroom, you know that Aaron Sorkin wrote those. It's dialogue driven and it's complex and it's just full of a lot of different things that you can feel is very unique to strictly Aaron Sorkin. In the same way that Amy Sherman Palladino's TV shows, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Gilmore Girls, has that very interesting comedic style, that very rambly sort of dialogue that makes all of her characters so lovable. That's developing your voice, and that's developing your style so that when someone reads your work, they know it's definitely yours and it's something that they want to see put in other stories that they're developing. Another really important thing is narrowing down the genres that you work in. And once you are ready for becoming a professional writer, you've sort of narrowed down your style. Everybody loves multiple genres, I guarantee it. It's just to say that you should work very well on one genre so that you have actually mastered all of the elements that are required in that writing style so that you can showcase it and you can stand out from the other writers. You can absolutely be a Jordan Peele if you want, and like I said, go from comedy to horror and even combine it. The point is, doing that combination and having those very unique skills in writing comedy and that surprising skill of writing horror is what actually got Jordan Peele noticed. It's what made his movies have an edge. And that's what I call really refining your writer's voice. Definitely narrow it down so that you've got enough samples in that writing genre to showcase that talent. So now that I've already mentioned writing resumes, let's talk about them for a bit. Definitely one of the biggest things that you're going to want to do is build that writing resume by actually having many samples, producing your films, whether it's short films or self-producing a feature film. Anything that you're producing on your own is great. And of course, we hear this all the time, that technology has really advanced to the point where you can buy a simple phone and you can truly actually use this to film your own videos. As long as you're actually writing for your budget, you should be able to shoot any sort of short film on your own. I know that I have shot quite a few short films on my own. I've met so many filmmakers who have put their stuff out there onto the web or into a film festival and have done so great with that. They've gotten themselves produced, they've gotten themselves a management team, and they've gotten themselves an agent, and this is really great. It's a great way to network, and it's a great way to build your writing resume. Another thing that you can think about with your writing resume is benchmarking on competitions. I use competitions as benchmarks all the time. When I go into a screenwriting competition, I'm looking to find a few different things, and I've talked about this in a few different videos. So make sure to take a look above or down below, or subscribe to my channel so that you can find them later on. But writing and benchmarking yourself with screenwriting competitions is a really great way to enter a competition, surprise yourself, and land, of course, a shortlist or a placement and put that onto your resume. So really consider how beneficial a screenwriting competition can be for you. The next thing I want to talk about when you're thinking about, are you ready for an agent, is checking in with yourself and really figuring out, are you ready? Asking yourself these questions. Do you truly believe that if you got a writing assignment tomorrow, you could keep up with the deadlines, you can keep up with all of the requests and notes, and that you can keep up with actually writing to a budget should they need you to write to a budget? Are you ready to answer those questions, work on those things, and do you feel like your revision process is solid? Of course, if you're saying, yes, I'm ready too early, there will be some telltale signs that you're gonna see, such as no one is getting back to you when you're querying, or your writing is not getting the right response that you are envisioning for it, and you're getting a lot of notes back that include clarity issues or that include structure issues. Another great sign that you're ready for an agent is the project count. Yes, the project count. That means you have multiple scripts ready to go at any time. Someone asks you for a different script, you've got it ready to go, and your samples are just nice and polished. And that is how you know you've built up enough of those writing samples and you've done a lot of the craft and a lot of work on yourself, and you've done multiple revisions. Such a great way to figure out, have I really come far enough, and am I ready to showcase myself as a professional? I mentioned a little earlier, feedback was something that you could use to sort of benchmark all of your writing as well. Well, that's the next thing that I want you to think about, because when you are actually getting good feedback and your comments go from a long list to this really tiny 1 or 2 points that can strengthen your script and your story, that's a great sign. When you are actually not getting any feedback about the structure anymore, and you can recite the structure just off the top of your head, you know that you're learning and really internalizing how story works. Once you even read through your own script, you'll see that difference in it, and you'll feel that this story has come together and is ready. My last two quick points are story internalization. Are you able to figure out just from watching that show where specifically the inciting incident happens? Or are you able to tell the character arc that's going on in a season or in the episode itself? Or how many specific stories are going on at the same time? Are you able to decipher in a movie exactly when that third act break happens? That is something that you will start to understand when you internalize everything. The very last thing that I want to stress to you, because I love talking about mindset and keeping yourself confident. That's right, the last thing that is the most important to figuring out if you're ready for an agent is confidence. When you're confident in your work and you can talk about it, you can tell me a full log line and a synopsis, and you can give me everything about your characters. That's how well you know your story. That's confidence. And confidence plays a very big part in selling yourself as a writer. It also proves that you can handle the complexities of being a writer and going through the pre-production process with a producer. When you start to become a full-time writer, you are married to that company that is creating your story. While that could be a short period of time or a long period of time, the point of the matter is confidence is something that's going to give you enough of that energy to push you through all of your writing and to get you through building the habits, putting in the work ethic, and of course, developing those stories to the best of your ability. So definitely make sure that when you are ready, you have that last missing piece, which is confidence. There's a lot of imposter syndrome with being a writer, and that happens very differently for each writer. Some may have it very minimally until they can prove it to themselves, and some may go through their whole career with it. When you're feeling that way, write down a few things about what you're doing with your storytelling that is working for you and that you feel confident about, to remind yourself that you are doing the best that you can. Thank you so much for sticking with me on this video, scribes. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and of course remember to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. And remember that if you want $30 off your subscription with Arc Studio, you can click the link down below. Keep on writing, scribes, and I will see you on the next one.